Hi, it's Scott from Pacific Automation here, and in this video we're continuing our how-to series on how to program the Lumel N21 digital panel meter. So far we've looked at how to install the USB drivers, how to install the Lumel Econ programming software, and also how to do basic programming of the Lumel N21 display. So if you haven't already, make sure you go back and watch those episodes in the series. In this final episode, we're going to look at how you can convert the display from a horizontal to a vertical orientation. We do that by updating the firmware. So we're going to jump back into our browser where we had Econ open from the previous video. And we're actually going to navigate back to the Lumel website to download the firmware for the N21. As always, there's going to be a link in the description to this. And again, if that link is broken in the future, please just shoot us a comment so that we can get it fixed up. But in this case, I'm going to convert this horizontal display into a vertical display. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded the firmware. And so we're going to jump back into Econ to do the update. So we navigate up to the top right corner here to update firmware. And that pops up the Lumel Updater software that we see here. If you've been previously connected to your device, it's going to disconnect at this point, and you're going to work within this window. So the first thing we need to do is select the firmware that we're trying to update, in this case, the vertical orientation firmware. So click the little, the three buttons here, the three dots, and navigate to where you had that software installed. I should also mention that you do need to unzip the software first. It comes down as a zip file. So make sure you extract those zip files to be able to get them ready to go for upload. So I'm in my downloads folder now where I saved it, and I've got the vertical version of the software here. Now different Lumel devices come with different software packages. So in this case, I've got to change it from to Intel hex format, and then I can find my N21 vertical software. So I'm just going to open that and connect to COM port 9. The next step in this process is to power cycle the display. So I'm just going to turn it off and back on. And we can see that it's now loaded into the bootloader interface. And all I need to do now is hit send. And that's starting to upload the firmware now. And you can see the front of the display has changed to the bootloader interface. And we can see the progress going on here. Now this takes 3 or 4 minutes, so we're going to cut the video here and come back once it's complete and go through the final stages. Okay, so we're about finished with the upload. It's just finishing the last couple of percent. And once it does hit that 100%, you're going to see that the display is going to reboot, as it has just now. And it is now an N21V, as you can see there. So we're going to have to rotate this display once it loads. And you can now see that it's converted to a bar graph, which is upside down. Let me flip it around. Okay, so one thing we do have to do is just, I'm going to close this window now because we've got it done, and I'm going to reconnect to the display. One thing we do have to do is just edit the defining units. When you make this change, you have to vertical. You can see it changes the shape of the defining unit from a square to a rectangular shape. So I'm just going to drop that down and reset it to bar and save. I am going to write the parameters and I'm going to save that back in. And you can see now that the bar, when it reboots, it shows bar in the center of the display. So you just need to make sure when you are flipping it from horizontal to vertical that you make that little change. And one other nice thing that you can see is that you can then see where the set points are as it goes up and down. Relay comes on at the high point, goes to the top, and as it comes back down, you can see where it's fitting along the bar graph where the relay will turn on and turn off. And that's as simple as it is. If you ever need to change it back to horizontal, you can do the same process, just with the different firmware. And you can, of course, order these from the factory ready to go. That's the conclusion of our programming series on the N21 panel meter. If you do have any questions, again, you can always get in touch with us at pacificautomation.com.au.